Hey guys, this session is dedicated to a type of melody I really like, and it's the synthesized based melody, or lead or sequence, call it however you want. So a moment before we dive in, I'll just give you some of my guidelines for that. First one is simple and supporting the rhythm, communicating with the other roles in the project. And simple wise, let's not go too crazy with the complex lines or too many notes, because we had and simple wise, let's not go too crazy with the complex lines and too many notes, because we have more layers to add later on. So I'll probably be using those stable notes of the scale, you know, the first, third, fifth degree of the scale. And I might or might not use all of them, or use other notes, so-called less stable notes, to create this tension and attraction between notes. But again, simple. Now, last thing is to make a groove that cuts a bit more in the mixed. Now, my intention is to create a layer that pushes out the groove with some gentle melodic twist. I chose Serum for the task. Let me show you the patch. So as you can see, it's really straightforward one. Sawtooth wave routed through high-cut filter, a bit of resonance, and check this section out. I checked on the mono and legato, because maybe we'll use some glides, and the portamento that controls the length or the speed of the glide is halfway. Now, last thing before we dive in, I'll probably modify this patch or mess a bit with the timbre later on, but first, let's write some notes. Let's duplicate this one through 4 bars and add some variations. By the way, I'm already trying to imagine the filter movement, but the actual automation I'll write in a bit. Okay, so check out what I've got till now. Okay, Okay, so before moving on, I want to talk with you guys a tiny bit about structure, but I'll try to do it without gliding too much into that subject. So for me, music, and no matter what type of genre, it's all about the balance between the expectations and the surprise, or let's say familiar versus the unfamiliar. What I mean by that, imagine a track that's being really expected. Like parts are repeated in the same exact way. It's very likely to be boring. On the other hand, if it's never be repeated, each part is so different from the one before, musical sentences never repeat even once, you will feel lost, without sense of time and without the possibility to enjoy. I hope it makes sense for you. So with saying that, I want you to pay attention about the structure I made over here. Started with one bar loop with this sequence inside. If it won't be repeated again somewhere in the track, it will be pretty strange. Check this out. Yeah, so what I've done is duplicating it 3 more times, 1, 2, 3, 4. But check this out, here's the interesting part. Instead of playing this exact same role again and again, I made a slight change over here. So yeah, this note for example. So for you it's kind of familiar, but with a bit of a change, something new. So let's call the first one A and the second one B. Now the obvious part will be to play A, B again, and that's what I've done basically. But instead of playing A again and B again, I played A again, and now you feel kind of safe, went to the safe zone and like what you are already know. But instead playing B again, I created another change and even a bigger one from the one that appeared on B. And if we zoom, if we do a zoom out for all this section, we can say we have a small structure of an A, B, A, C that kind of takes you or gives you a familiar line again and again, but with slight changes every time. And by the way, this is a very common structure, this ABAC kind of a thing. Now moving on, this is our line so far. And I hope in this stage you said to yourself, it's got to be played again, at least one time. So let's do it. Let's duplicate it 3 more times. And now it's being played through all this section. And if we zoom out again, now we can consider this one, instead of a tiny structure of A, B, A, C, this whole line will be our A. And the other ones will be the A, B, A, C, or any type of a structure you are wish to build. So the next thing will be, as before, creating again more changes through this section and develop it even further. So those changes can appear as, let's say, more P changes, or arrange note differently, or create some automations, or make effects punch in and out, or basically any other things that pops into your head. And honestly, for me, this stage is just doing a lot of experiments, like the trial and error type of a thing. So let me work it out a bit, and I'll probably cut it out to the end of the process and skip, not really, but skip the tiring part. Yeah, so let's do it. Okay, so finished editing for now, and yeah, let's just hear it for a moment. In the end, what you heard is mainly the original writing. Yeah, I made some filter movement, played a bit with the filter attack, also converted everything to audio and then made some gentle arranging changes, made some reverse here and there. But I gotta tell you honestly, I tried to play with some effects, but in the end deleted most of them. And yes, I'm pretty satisfied with the outcome. So with that being said, we made it to the end of another chapter, and let's cut it out.